Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Kim with Kim's Inspired Life, and I am in Colorado. I came to visit my grandkids that live here, and I'm filming on my iPad, which I don't usually do, so I always forget which way I'm supposed to look. So I am downstairs in the basement. That's where the extra room is, and so what you see outside the window right there is the window well. So if you have basements, and I guess it's because of the snow, right? Then you know what that's all about. So I am here to share some books for hashtag Thursday BookTube, and I have the information for some of the books that I want to share with you. I think I'm sharing 4 today. I wrote some notes on my phone, which I have right here, and I'm going to share with you what I'm currently reading and tell you a little bit about it. So first I'm going to share with you a book that I borrowed from Libby on the Libby app, and it's called "And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer." And I was looking for a novella specifically because my friend Shannon, hi Shannon, at Pages and Polish, that does wonderful book reviews, she was talking about novellas, and I thought, I don't think I've read a novella or maybe listened to a novella in a while. So I went to Libby and I found this one by Fredrik Backman, and it was an hour long, and so I thought, okay, that sounds interesting. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm going to highly recommend this. Okay, so "And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer." It is a poetic meditation on memory and love and the painful reality of letting go. And so it's a short story, but it has just like this big impact. Oh my gosh, I just found myself just thinking about it. It's about a family as they navigate the loss of their grandfather who had dementia. And this is the first time I've read anything from Fredrik Backman. And I do like his writing style. The words that he used to describe just the story, the characters, they're beautiful. And relationship between the grandfather and the grandson, of course, is what I loved, because of course my husband having 2 grandsons, and I just thought there was just that depth of love that they seemed to share in this short novella. It was just so heart-wrenching and so lovely. So the novella is both kind of like heartbreaking, but then it offers hope as well. Not just about loss, but really the grandfather sharing these cherished memories with his grandson. And it does deal with dementia. So if you have experienced dementia with family or friends, then it'll kind of, you'll be able to probably relate to some of the ideas how the author shares the ideas in the story. Really, that connection that the grandfather and his grandson make is just so touching and so memorable, and definitely makes this a must read. The second book that I read, called The Gift of a Letter by Alexandra Stoddard. This was a book that I picked up at a used book sale, I want to say, and I bought it. I have the actual physical book, and I bought it because, of course, I love the idea of writing and sending letters, and since I love to do that, and it was a short read. The Gift of a Letter is 132 pages, and the author really just kind of captures the art and meaning of handwritten letters, something that maybe is a little bit more rare today, especially now when everyone is, sending texts and sending emails, and many people don't write as many letters. And I really love how the author reminds us how important letters are, both as you receive them and when you write them. She calls them gifts of time, of thought, and love. We know that any kind of a handwritten note, whether it's a handwritten card, there's a lot of personality in a way that text can't. We often say that when you send a text, we don't know the tone of how it's being set. Even when we're writing a letter, with the stationery that we choose, whether we choose to put some stamps on it or stickers, or however we may send it, both the letter and the envelope has meaning for both the sender and the receiver, right? This book is just kind of a gentle, kind of encouraging read. Perfect if you're looking for some inspiration to possibly to start writing again, or to start writing a letter. It reminded me of just simple gesture like sending a letter can really end up being a really treasured gift to someone. Okay, the next book I'm going to tell you about is called Our Souls at Night by Kent Haruf. It was published in 2015, 179 pages long. But what happened was, when I started to read this book, I thought, wait a minute, this book sounds familiar, because it was actually a movie that I had seen, and you've probably seen as well. So Our Souls at Night is just kind of one of those quiet but beautiful books, and it kind of, it stays with you because of the characters. And the author writes in a really just a simple, very simple language. He describes the emotions are pretty powerful. Remember a film that had Robert Redford in it and Jane Fonda, and in the story their names are Addie and Lewis. They're two neighbors, and they're both in their 70s, and they decide to keep each other they decide to keep each other's company at night, right? Not for romance at first, they just want to be friends, mostly just for companionship and for comfort, right? And so she goes over to his house, and they both have connections with each other because of their because of their husband and wife who have now passed away. And so this story goes through the ideas of loneliness, of love, and the courage it takes to reach out to someone if you feel that maybe they need some comfort, or maybe you do. This book is about connection, about companionship. I don't know about you guys, but since I'm retired and since I am in 60 plus now, 61, I'm watching channels that are about, people that are retired, and they're talking about, what they do now that they're retired, now that they don't have, maybe they're a widow or a widower. And so this book kind of goes along with that idea. There's, the author writes with a really kind of tenderness in a way, because you see how their friendship grows. Characters are open to this, friendship and love and companionship, even though, the neighbors start whispering about them and all of that, and people in town. So it's not a really, flashy story. It's not, it probably wasn't a blockbuster at the time, even though it had two major, stars in it. But the story just really reminds us how deeply human we all are, how vulnerable we can be. I would recommend reading the book and also seeing the movie too. And so I did not finish reading the book. Actually, I started listening to the book on audiobook and listened to, I want to say about 3 hours of it. And then I finally said, you know what, I feel like I really know the story. I like the story. I know how it ends. So I'm going to just, finish that book, and then I'm going to go on to another one. And which is the story that I'm reading now. The book that I'm reading now, Anything is Possible by Elizabeth Strout. I also started reading on the Libby app as an audiobook. I read probably about, probably about 20% of it, I think. And then I stopped reading it because I started reading something else, or I went on to something else. And then I just so happened, when we were in Nashville, then I actually found the book, Anything is Possible by Elizabeth Strout. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this book, but I can tell you I'm on page 108, and there are 254 pages in this book, and already I can tell you that it is a recommend. Basically, each chapter tells you about a different character, but all these characters are intertwined in some way. Some, it's very visible how they're intertwined with the person or the people before them in previous chapters, and some I had to kind of read it 2 or 3 pages before I finally started saying, okay, this is how maybe it's connected. All of these people live in a small town in Illinois. And I forgot to say this. One of the reasons why this book caught my eye is because right on the front, Ann Patchett reviewed this book. This book, the writer, are magnificent, by Ann Patchett. And so if you've been on my channel and you've been on my #ThursdayBookTube, you know that I love Ann Patchett. And so when she reviewed this book and said that she loved it, I thought, okay, I'm going to love it too. In this book, like I said, every chapter focuses on a different character. The way they connect really is kind of surprising in some ways. This book has struggle, regret, hope, and these are just everyday people that she's talking about. The stories touch your heart, the characters touch your heart. There's a lot about humanity, so much you can relate to in the world right now, today. And so I keep finding myself just pausing to think about the characters and who do I know, because they feel so real. They feel like people that I actually know in my own life. Even though I haven't finished reading it, I can definitely recommend this book to you, and I'm excited to see how all of these lives and all these characters are going to tie together at the end. There you have it. There are some books. I'll put all of the book titles down in the description box below. So if one of these books sounded good to you and you would like to look them up either on the Libby app or find them in a used bookstore or Barnes & Noble or wherever you buy your books, then that would be great. Thank you to Patti at Life with Patti and Daphne at My Mountain Home and Kitchen for hosting #Thursday BookTube every week. You guys are awesome. Definitely follow the hashtag. There are some wonderful, I love following the hashtag to see what other people are reading and getting some inspiration and encouragement to continue reading. All right, guys, hope you're having a great day, and I'm going to be in Denver only just a couple more days. Tomorrow is Sunday. After church, we're going to celebrate my daughter-in-law's birthday, and then I'll leave Monday morning to head back to California. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.